life a lot harder. Oh dear, that is a huge sleep dart. Are you kidding me, Shaz?
And he doesn't do it.
Still get the kill. I know Shawford kind of messed it up. I still give credit to Shaz, but that's fine. Rascal goes down. Shawford does find that headshot. The shocker moved up here with that Orisa composition. No one with Raw out of the picture. Talk about holding serve on the point with tanks, Matt. Now the Gladiators have a heck of a lot to play around. That's another sleep dart, by the way.
And that's a
just
big
building.
I mean, you get Choyoven down. That's the only player on the team for the shot that you're worried about for the Gladiators, because Void can't contest the point alone against that Roadhog. The Roadhog hook will go right through. Void gets moved back. He flies on through as the Gladiators still hold the point. Anything else? And I think what you see with this change over to D.Va is they're just trying to create some type of offense outside of Rascal.
Blizzard sound barrier committed here by the Gladiators, and Shawford gets to sit back and do as he pleases. Jeez, you love to be here, don't you? It's almost effortless. They're not cohesive right now.
Hey, I mean, this has been a dominant performance from the Gladiators here in our first point. It'll be a nano boost that goes on Architect on the Doomfist. He's just trying to make a play for the point, but you see none of these kills going in favor of the Shock. They're not able to take advantage of all of that damage that Rascal is putting down on the bar earlier in the point.
Void set up very well. Great late round for him. 5 final blows for the D.Va, topping his team.
Who do you nano? Do you nano the Reaper? Do you nano May here in this scenario?
Oh, holy old percent, Uncle Batman. Shawford sits in the corner. He does get slept here. Chance to wake up and finish Rascal off. The K is the one that got him. Shawford says, miss me with this, because Architect comes in with 3. Shawford just had a premonition. His spidey senses were tingling. He's like, nope, I don't want to be here anymore.
He does pick up 1 on the point, so still holding on to it for a little bit longer. Gets to like 2 or 3%, but that is a Blizzard plus a Death Blossom. We can check it out here.
Oh,
Giants here by Architect to get around.
That's it.
Yep, just die.
In the trailer park boy, but he's going around the outside anyway. Smurf gonna activate his straight away. Shawford probably heads to the high ground, but he drops down the chimney like Dark Santa. He comes in with a Death Blossom. Finds Smurf, protected by the defense matrix, and gets a big D-shoot there as well. The Shock, their reign on the point will be short-lived.
Losing Violet at the beginning, who's playing Ana.
Not easy against this May setup here. Decay doesn't go for the wall yet. Well sent it in, tries to block the self-destruct in with Smurf, but it's actually one that Void gets. Not good. Sound barrier comes out, but they didn't get to the point where the Blizzard is still effective. Big Goose now going to charge down Rascal. Forces him out of position. Rascal can't take that fight at all, and Choyoven has seen better days. Mech looking average. Self-destruct on the point. Chas is just going to fade away and avoid the damage from that one, and the Gladiators make their mark early. It's going to be Rascal just falls over the finish line like you're at a 100-mile marathon and over the edge. Almost for Smurf. He's able to stay back on with the grappling hook. Moth can't really touch the point right now. Min is a Reaper. How are you going to stall out against this guy? Shawford has the Death Blossom, and he'll make a point of using it against Moth, who's actually able to avoid it. Dexterous as he is. But that's how a home team takes a map 1, and the Shock best be respecting.
That is not a close map 1. Only 8 kills for the Shock on both points to the 40 of the LA Gladiators. That is a big statement.
Atrocious.
Map 1 win. They use the wall on the high ground to block Choyoven's compute.
Sinatra into the backline. Pulse bomb connection. It got Decay though. Was stuck to Shawford. Looks like he was a little bit too slow on the Wraith walk. Either way, getting the May out of the picture is big, and the Gladiators still want to commit though. This is quite interesting now. Straight into a whole hog trick. Hoping to hold them up. You're making me motion sick. Gets him though, and the sound barrier from Big Goose amounts to very little, and that is the end of Shawford as we know him. He is stuck.
Nice block, too.
I think he has to, right? He can't move in that position. He's actually stuck. Shawford down Sinatra pulse. Stick on Shaz. Can't get away from that one. No fade option. Sinatra chases down Big Goose almost at the cost of his own life, but he thinks better of it. Reconsiders. Recalls. That's a Blizzard. If I've ever seen one. Rascal goes for it. Catches Big Goose there. Great angle. Gets rid of Raw. The tracer from Sinatra is really starting to hurt now on the Shock. Very comfortable defense here. Point. He gets to the point. Put to sleep now as he touches it. The Shock still need to respond to this. There is a Reaper set up on the point. Shawford is close to a Death Blossom, but without defense matrix, he won't be able to use it safely, and Smurf catches him. You saw how desperately Void was trying to keep him alive to get the Death Blossom, but it wasn't enough. He didn't get there. Sinatra, you notice he sprays the ground very frequently, but this time it's an oops. I did it again. The Shock look like they're going to hold here. Raw. Now he's going to get frozen solid. There's not really much else to be done. San Francisco, that's a bounce back. A
a very good defensive hold.
This is their defensive hold here on Hanamura.
Take a look at Sinatra with the pulse bomb. Fade away. While he's going.
Oh no, it just came off cooldown. It just came off cooldown. Round access, man. Sinatra getting up there with consummate ease. Oh, now he's hacked, so this is a bit awkward for him standing where he is. Shawford just trying to shut down some of these mobile damage dealers before the fight begins. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Rascal has gone down, so Sinatra has to carry the damage duties on his own, but he's being backed up by Chakobin on the high ground. Sinatra gets a moment to take a brief sidebar. He does see Decay whisk past him quickly, but he's more interested in the fast one. You can't show this on TV!
Oh, that is
stuff. Not where you want to be, man.
Point being taken here by Violet. It does not look like the Gladiators going to have a great opportunity.
Yikes, dude! Big yikes!
Surfer was there, but not able to make a play as map 1 is all Gladiators. Map number 2, the Gladiators don't even show up. It's all shots. Reaper for the shot.
Super trying to push forward there. Yeah, there you go. The quickest Hanamura time was NYXL Shanghai last year on Hanamura, so shocker up there. Oh, getting Big Goose here. That is huge. Architect uncontested. Finally, everyone turning attention towards it, but he can commit to this fight. Yeah, it's a nice spike to the brain. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite give him the same effect as Cryogenesis. He will have to respawn, but it don't matter the shot. They strike early, first blood. The shot get past that first choke, and they get to play here. This is an ideal situation for the attacker, and it's a nightmare for the Gladiators. You see Shawford, he's looking for something, anything that can get his team the edge. Getting rid of Super there is pretty darn good, but he's the only one making the impact here.
It is bad for the Gladiators. They end up, so it's good they take the fight. They get snowballed the whole map.
Supercharger down, wall up, Super doesn't care. He's going to push forward anyway. Raw's going to fortify and try and get away, but there's a Blizzard being dropped down. Super goes for the fortify. He's not trying to escape the Blizzard. He's trying to get as much damage up time as possible. Then he throws the shield down. He's protected behind it. Wall goes up, but Architect gets him. Oh, Raw is able to shut him down. And a good fighting grenade connection by Shaz with the shock. They rode that avalanche all the way here. Violet and Big Goose have traded out on the support line, and Shawford might have to Death Blossom here to try and secure this fight. Oh no! He's over the edge! They might have needed him there, and now it's going to be the Blizzard for the San Francisco Shock. Raw is caught inside of it, desperately. Boyd trying to keep him alive with the defense matrix, but it was a matter of time. Fade now, and just a fade for Shaz. He's getting away, but Big Goose goes down, and well, he didn't escape in the end. Most of the Gladiators have to wait behind it. Another coalescence here for Shaz. Architect waits it out. He gets decayed despite the healing ultimate being there from Shaz. And now it's a sound barrier. A great time for the San Francisco Shock to get aggressive. And Architect is going to teleport forward. Looking for Big Goose. Supercharger in the corner, and Architect wants to join this party. Death Blossom as soon as Void got desuited. Perfect timing from Architect. He built that one nicely. Shaz getting removed, and that'll be the Shock to finish the map. And the Gladiators have felt like, man, they never got purchase on the defense. The Discord Orb forced in the ice block immediately. Trikoba now needs to deal with Decay. One of them does at least, but Decay's making himself very scarce. Trying to hide behind the post box, but it's no TARDIS, and it's not going to get the Shock out of dodge here. Architect is actually playing off the point with Violet getting caught out here. This could be a bit of a struggle. Valiant from the Architect, man. Gets 2 kills, but that's not enough here.
Split Super off. That's going to be an immortality kill that keeps him alive.
He's loving it. He's actually pretty close to full health as well. Raw Supercharger's taken down. Super gets his revenge. That is nutty. Shawford. Oh, Rascal wakes him up there. Yeah. Violet actually put him to sleep. Wall comes up. Remember, Wall's no block Blizzard, so Rascal is going to get wrecked here if he's not careful. Yeah, defense matrix from both divas, but there's no chance of keeping him alive. Decay can now chase after Architect, who's going to run back behind that amplification matrix. Still, the Gladiators want to get aggressive in towards this. Defense matrix so important. Void protecting his team from the amplified damage coming through the window. Nicely done. Either way, give him the benefit of the doubt. How about that? Shawford going to teleport across, and that Blossom here would be pretty devastating. And yeah, good connection. And the timing was perfect. Trikopa was just in the D-suit animation when he went for it. So full value has been claimed.
We're using the Supercharger right up near the spawn door. So trying to deter the shot. We're running out. Super wants to fight it. They're going to use the sound barrier as well.
Nice play. Getting rid of that Supercharger now. Shawford gets in the back line, but Architect trying to keep him at bay. Coalescence used, and Shawford's healed up as he uses Wraith Walk. Then the sound barrier comes on, and that Reaper is unkillable. 1 minute 29 seconds remain here for the Los Angeles Gladiators. It's not the best time, but finishing the map is all they're trying to get done right now. Choke open to the skies. He is desuited. Violet has the coalescence, and Rascal's able to freeze up Shawfall. One more shot would have gotten the job done, but the healing was there for Shawfall, and Tatsumi lives on. That's going to be the Roadhog onto the point. Super just going to try and take a breather and mitigate as much damage as possible, but it's just all nothing but. Gladius and the rest of the Gladiators squad looking pleased about that one. New goats, some people are calling him. That has no real intuitive meaning, but Rascal's gone down early here. Shawfall, good discipline actually to back away when he did there. He's able to get healed up by Shaz, and Moth overextends into Void. This is a great start for the Gladiators. Maybe the Shock just got a little bit ahead of themselves now, and there's no escape. The Ice Wall goes up, and Shawfall plunges into their midst. The Hellfire shotguns akimbo, and the kills are coming.
Yeah, it's a shot they were trying to back out.
Great wall though, trying to segment Super off. Shock's one looked a bit better though. Look at this, they catch Big Goose on their side of the map. And using the choke, there's nothing the Gladiators can do about it. Coalescence has come out from both. Shawfall now having to contend with Violet in the back line. He's still looking Violet. Instead of healing his Diva, goes for the damage on Shawfall, and they lose Trichoven's mate. Here it is, Death Blossom in the middle of it now. Blizzard finally come out from Rascal, but it doesn't really get much done, and the Gladiators look like they're still on the run. Architect forced back and silenced. Wow! Trying to push forward straight into a hole. He's forced to Wraith Walker now to go aggressive, but it's going to be a defense matrix from Void, covers up most of that damage, and they get the replying kill on Architect. Sound barrier, notwithstanding, it wasn't enough. Decay pushing forward now, he's caught Rascal, and he has him in his sights. The icicle to the face was his sentence. And that's not looking good for the Shock. They're still struggling to put things together. Maybe Big Goose lost is a way to slow the momentum down a little bit here for the Gladiators, but they're showing no signs of stopping, and the Shock had to get out. They're worried about getting snowballed. They're going to try and defend again, but it doesn't look good.
This is horrible for the Shock as the Gladiators.
There it is.
They will take the second point.
Ultimate's in this part of the game when you're losing every fight. Self-destruct goes over the top, from Void, but Shawfall gets two, combining for four, the two of them. Chokeoven bowled over once more. Rascal attempts to stall here, but he will be back in spawn. Shawfall making his way around. The snow dome is erected in the middle of the point.
There it is.
Shawfall comes in now to reap his way through. Sound barrier here, big boost now. Chokeoven de-suited, and Shawfall going to bide his time. He's been chased down by Architect, looking to try and life steal a little bit to stay in the fight, and it's worked perfectly. He's back to full health, and the Gladiators are on a riot now. Architect has to come in, try and intervene with the Death Blossom. Only finds the one kill, and Raw's going to have to be enough. Shaz down, Architect finds his second, but Shawfall finding Rascal now. The maze out of the picture, the crowd control is gone, and this crowd is on their feet. 2 ticks now. Gladiators have to make their move, but Decay has gone down. This might have backfired. Raw's caught up against the wall. He has to walk outside of his barrier. Now Architect takes to the high ground, but Big Goose, that's the sleep dart. Shaz, the Sandman comes in, and Architect has to get out of dodge. Still, Super's able to find Raw now. Up to the high ground goes Void. Architect playing around the hotel. Void frozen solid. Now he will take damage from the coalescence of Violet's not interested in healing at this point. The Shock, it has to be speed. They have to get through this map quickly now. And that is a very annoying location for an immortality field. Eventually it's removed, and so is Shawfall.
Just burn clock. If you're the Gladiators, that's all you need to do is just burn the clock.
Last time 2 teams went to 12 rounds, it was the Rain versus the Charge in stage 2. The Shock have to do that if they want to stay in this map. Architect sees the wall. Decay straight into Ice Block now. That Supercharger not being wasted, but they're not getting full value out of it. Architect does note the position of Shawfall behind him, but he can't really do anything about it right now. It's too risky. Diva Bomb goes in. Chokeoven definitely hit by that one, even with the sound barrier. He gets de-suited. He goes for a self-destruct of his own now, but the Decay's already gone down here. Now Shawfall is shut down during his Death Blossom. The Blizzard finds his mark, but he's still able to fight the old-fashioned way. Blocked off by the wall. The Shock, they've stayed alive in this fight, but they need to win it. Chokeoven, not with them yet, but Super returns to the Wrecking Ball now. Pile driving in. Death Blossom from Architect. That one looked a little better. And the Shock aren't done yet. All they need to do, let the payload move, find an early pick. That would be massive. Another great wall from Rascal. That was going to be a sound barrier for the Gladiators to smooth out the beginning of this fight, and it works. Oh no, Rascal's Blizzard, it's gone into the void. And Rascal will also be removed now. What a shameful way to exit, but not much he could do. Architect now forced in a Wraith Walk. The coalescence is active currently, but it's only healing right now for Violet, and it just doesn't go far enough. Off the back of the point with Spot. There it is. Talk about shields up. The LA Gladiators know that the best defense is a good offense, and they show that on their second time through the map. 6 checkpoints in 1 minute with a bit of overtime action. That's how the Gladiators like to do it. To get a defense here. Shawfall finds the assassination, then heads back to his own backline. Raw though, staying as well could perhaps just a little bit. And Architect knows that Shore4 is about to head up to the high ground.
Interesting, the only players we haven't seen for the Shock so far in this series have been Nevix and Striker.
Sure.
We don't see Striker in this one. Striker on the Widowmakers.
Yeah.
It's been a strong pick. Maybe it's something they see with the Gladiators. It'll be a Coalescence, and that'll be a sleep. Like, basically, instantly, when that Coalescence comes out from Shaz, Violet just does a 360, hits a sleep dart, and that'll be first point take here for the Shock.
You have to go up against the Shanghai Dragons. You know, your first match back.
I mean, Rascal gets a pick here to start things off. See if the Gladiators can make a play out of this. Spoiler alert, there's Dragon Immortality Field. Doesn't look like they can. I get that you haven't seen Striker in a while, and like I said, it's really hard to recreate the OWL environment in scrimmages and whatnot. Huge part of this.
Self-destruct by Void. This is just to try and force the Shock away from using this air matrix, but that placement, absolutely perfect. There is no way the Gladiators can engage them without subjecting themselves to the amplified damage from that matrix. Very clever positioning. And you saw the Gladiators got mowed over. Rascal could go to the high ground, but yeah, okay, he's going to do that with the wall, give it a decay. I mean, Void is there. Rascal just ignoring him right now. He can't finish the kill. He keeps two heroes busy, and he actually gets a Blizzard there.
He locks him up top.
That's really nice. Void gets frozen in that one as well. Shaz was able to avoid it for the most part, but Rascal straight back up there. Two shakes of a lamb's tail, and he finishes what he started. The Shock finishing off Havana with, honestly, a ton of time to get
3 minutes plus.
Yeah, but we saw how King Throw went. He has to play very carefully for the next couple of moments. Blizzard thrown out, though. The shots just didn't look very good in general. Void gets the hook. Oh! He's in the fadeaway. Steps onto the point. Dragon Strike going to shave a lot of health off, but at the end of the day, he is Roadhog.
They use everything. Violet has used the nano on a Choyovin when they're...
For what?
It's like a 5-on-3. Maybe you see the... Well, Choyovin's almost that whole hog, man. Rascal's so far away. Rascal's back behind. They're just trying to spawn camp.
This is not... No, this is when a spawn camp turns into a stagger.
Let them up.
I mean, I guess for the sake of Rascal, Shore4's not there, but it's still not good. I mean, this has been a mess here for the Shock.
Nice little time extension here for the Gladiators, Matt. Cha-ching, 4.5 minutes.
You have the opportunity to use your own Blizzard here. Dragon Strike, they're going to get a hook on the Super as he gets low and then taken out.
Yeah, not where he wanted to be at all. And Shore4 finds Rascal, who was, in all fairness, trying to 1v1 him for the entirety of the pre-fight. Hanzo now really starting to make that impact. Shore4 with 12 final blows on this map, just dominating. You don't have to do that. You can save them. If you're good at rationing them out or good at getting picks without ultimates, then you're going to dominate in this meta.
But he gets blown up there, Decay. That's going to be the nano boost that goes down on Architect. He's able to just plow through 3. The really fast team fight goes in favor of the Shock.
The sound barrier, but that's all but timed out, and now the Shock will get theirs. Architect in, Death Blossom being mostly covered up by the defense matrix, and now he's locked in a battle with Shore4. He ups out of that one. Great form, back towards the health pack. Now he'll return, but Shore4 really playing aggressively at the front of the card. Who's going to protect the team from the self-destruct? Choyovin gets Big Goose, Void finds nothing. Now Architect drops back in. This is when he springs forward, when the Blizzard has rendered his opponents immobile. And there will be the damage thrown in. The San Francisco Shock finally find their footing here on Havana. And they will take us to a map 5 affair. The Bay Area boys keep it alive.
Shock barely hold on there as the Gladiators' push was looking pretty good, but they will force a game 5.
You have to try and win the fight. It's got to be an important one now, and yeah, he throws it down. Architect close to a Death Blossom as well. All the stops being pulled out real early here on Legion Tower, and there it is! Architect, make sure the fight goes his way.
You know, the Shock, they'll get the point first. They have to use a ton of ultimates to do it. They'll have another Coalescence and another Blizzard.
Not much to assist Choyovin self-destruct. Architect tried to break the wall mentally to get the blast out there, but it didn't work. Another wall is placed in front of Shore4, but the Shock do not have pole position right now. They are being shunted off the point, and Shore4 is getting more ult percent by the second.
And Choyovin, though, on the point to still contest. You got Architect and Smurf there as well. Moth going to come back, but this is a lot of percentage that the Shock are getting extra. Remind you, this is 5 ultimates invested here for the Gladiators. Positioning needs to be perfect on these entries.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable choke to push through. Look at Architect. He doesn't want to be there at all. Death Blossom comes in. Architect was able to rank walk just in time, but the back line was not so lucky. And Big Goose follows up with a nice big boom. Home crowd pleased. Gladiators now on the front foot, and guess what? They still have 3 ultimates. They are getting so much value. A Death Blossom and a Boop. With a Supercharger, that was enough.
Outside of the first fight, it has been all Gladiators.
See ya!
Big Goose with the boops there. How they go to attack this? Actually, the Maze sitting in the corner here, so Decay is able to get one.
And that might be all they need, really. Soundbarrier was still used by the Gladiators, but this is the only fight that they had to win now. They can use all their ultimates as they please. Decay puts up a ball and keeps the shock in there. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. Void now on the point, getting a little bit low. They're going to have to use Raw Shield as long as they possibly can here. Shore4 is returning to the fight from the spawn right now, so Architect has free reign for the time being, and well, as a result, Void is felled. Still moving forward as the Gladiators try and backtrack. At least they still had Raw late in the fight and they were able to shield themselves, but Architect now will farm them up for a little bit of ult percent. That was supposed to be a Gladiators win right there, Matt, but something went wrong in the corridor. For long, don't worry, Gladiators fans. Architect in, trying to go for the Death Loss, but Defense Matrix is already in play by Void. He still gets away with murder, literally! Gets in there and gets the cave. And now the Sound Barrier just smooth things out much more. Architect can finish the job, Raw down. And it's 99 to 99. This has to be a big Death Blossom from Shore4. Gets one, but Architect silences him there. Heals himself up with that light steal. Self-destruct thrown on, but Violet just fades in. Void's able to remake here at the very least, and Shaz is gone down. No more Moira for the Gladiators, and Architect has yet another Death Blossom. He's going to use it now just to be sure, just in case. He might be frozen solid, but he claimed the point.
Both Reapers, Shore4 though, may still find his way to the back lines a little bit more. That's a Blizzard from Rascal this time, and immediately it catches Raw out. He was low, admittedly. Decay frozen up. He's able to break free, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done. The Shock win a fight, and Matt, they win it with just 2 ultimates. They're going to need to do that more to stay in this. They will end up flipping the point here.
At 99 though. Get away. Rascal's going to get frozen now. Choikoven charges in to try and keep his mate alive, and it works out. They knew that Rascal had the Blizzard. They need to be able to use that later in the fight. Another Sound Barrier from Big Goose, but that expires before the Shock can start fighting, and 97% is on the clock. The Gladiators now, their last chance to take this away, or the series will have fallen by the wayside. Rascal's Blizzard, that's where your eyes should be right now. That is the most important ultimate and the only ultimate on the field. He throws it up, tries to block Shore4 in with the wall. It looks like he might be able to get Decay amongst this one. Decay forced in the ice block. Choikoven throws a self-destruct over the backhand side, but it's Raw taken down, and there's a Sound Barrier for the San Francisco Shock. Here it is, the moment they've been waiting for. Architect gets an uncontested Death Blossom, and Shore4 can't do anything to keep this one alive. San Francisco, bring it home.
The Shock come up clutch in the end. It's just the ultimate usage there in that 5th map. They're able to just take both points. The Gladiators with a really tough loss.
That hurts for them. Again, the trend of struggling against teams ranked higher than them continues.
But we have the HP Omen player of the match. And this one will go to Architect. I thought he had a very good game on the Reaper. I think his Hanzo also showed up big today. And look, he seems to be a mainstay in this roster a lot of the maps. And I think you're going to need him to show up big. Today he did.
And it wasn't just the Reaper, it wasn't just going in and getting the dirty work done. No, he got over a multitude of different heroes. I like the Hanzo. It's great to see him back in the mix.
Yes.
Architect was a very hyped up player for good reason. He comes in here alongside Choikoven, long-time teammates, and continues to have an impact, and also demonstrates that the incubation chamber that is the San Francisco Shock is operating on all cylinders there. Very impressive from him.
Yeah, and you can see his Reaper stats for this match. So the damage, 47k, 41 final blows, 27 Death Blossom kills. How, we really don't see that many Death Blossom kills. A pretty wild game there for Architect.
And look at the multi-kills, 6 of those. They're the ones you're looking for here.